Fancy lad.
Fancy lad.
Fancy lad.
Podcast Fancy lad.
Fancy
Podcast.
lad.
Gonna talk to my friends. Gonna share a
Fancy
thought.
lad.
Gonna have a laugh. That's what I thought.
lad.
Fancy lad. The
Fancy
Fancy
lad.
Podcast. Fancy lad. Fancy lad
Fancy
podcast. Yeah.
And we are back.
Oh, yes, indeed, we are back, Bigzo. You are correct.
Damn fucking straight.
Mm-hmm.
For all those naysayers out there that said we couldn't do it.
Fucking tired of those naysayers.
This is we're here just to shove it in their face.
Oh my god, I love shit. I love.
You love shit?
No, I was gonna say I love shaving shit.
Okay.
All right. First off, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I'm fond of shit. I wouldn't say I love it.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was gonna say I love shoving it in naysayers' faces.
Yeah. Okay. That's making a lot more sense now.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you want to talk about shaving shit sometime,
Okay. Well, I think we're gonna have to save that for an entire different podcast.
Mhm. maybe the dirty zone.
Possibly the dirty zone.
Possibly the dirty zone.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But back to the naysayers, it's like they ride it. It's like you got fucking naysayer, fucking shit Kringle,
Mhm.
fucking riding in on with his neigh bells,
As he does.
Oh.
Everyone knows shit Kringle and his neigh bells.
and his fucking bunch of negative reindeer that just
They call them negative Rudolphs, though.
negative Rudolphs.
A bunch
Exactly.
of them. A whole slew of them.
Yeah,
Oh, my nose is too bright.
I know. And all they do is try to drag you down. But we're not going to let that happen.
Mm-mm.
No.
And why is that?
Because we're not quitters, okay?
Oh.
All right?
We're
gonna
not.
we're going to keep on keeping on, okay?
Damn it. For how long?
For as long as the game exists, okay? This is for the love of the game.
God damn it. Okay. All right.
And you know where we are?
We're in the jungle, baby?
And
I'm gonna die?
yeah. I hate to say it.
No. Well, easy come, easy go.
We've relocated the Fancy Lad podcast studio to the
Mhm.
jungle.
This is a good time to tell the season 5.
Mhm.
We had to get rid of that drabbled studio.
Well, I was kind of sick of AJ and just
How dare you say that about AJ?
well, I mean, every time, I felt like there was a lack of oxygen in the studio.
Mm-hmm.
I went up to one of his air holes
Yeah.
and I would just try to take deep breaths to get some fucking oxygen before I got too tired. And I would always get stuffed. He would always just slip a hot dog into the hole and out of the hole.
Dude, I was going to say that those ventilation system, that whatever he installed there, it seems so impractical.
Right.
So impractical. You got to seal your mouth right,
Yeah.
to the wall
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, right.
Open up.
With a perfect circle.
Perfect circle.
Yep.
And then you get jabbed in the back of the throat over and over.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And I guess that's our fault
I'm just trying to breathe here, man.
for, investing in a studio that didn't have any windows or
Mhm.
ventilation.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like he kind of took advantage of that.
Well, can you blame him?
So here we are in the jungle,
So we're in the jungle now.
baby.
Yep.
And is Axl Rose your favorite ginger?
Absolutely not.
Oh, well, Conan O'Brien, hands down.
Well, yeah, come on.
Conan,
Axl Rose.
Conan, besides Conan.
Besides Conan?
Besides Conan.
Oh, yeah, Axl Rose.
All right. Good to know. I don't know if that's something that people think about too often.
I would never even consider him a ginger. He wears a bandana.
He's definitely got red hair.
Well, no, I'm not. I mean, do you think his hair is redder than? Would you say that I have red hair? No, I wouldn't either.
No.
Okay.
But there's people like Legs who have a red beard
That's true.
and don't really have red hair.
Right.
And they're pirates.
And his pubes.
Right.
I come from a family of pirates.
No, I know that.
Right.
Why do you think I know that your Halloween costume every year
It's
actually
just
is not a
hand-me-downs.
costume?
It's just hand-me-downs.
And it's the one day of the year that you get away with dressing as your native garment,
Well, I'm glad you acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that, you don't ridicule me for it.
No. I mean,
I'm proud of my heritage.
I'm just open to accepting all, walks of life and all sort of, different ideologies, whether it be the lawless seamen, that you consider yourself a lawless seaman,
Yeah. I mean, I just any kind of seaman.
Right.
Yeah.
But one with no laws.
No law, lots of law,
Yeah. Yeah.
Hot, cold,
Right. Whatever temp.
congealed.
Yeah, but that's why, we started with, getting into talking in the last episode about having a hip-hop motif, because, we're open to all walks of life here. The rock, the hip-hop, the bebop,
The seaman.
the seaman.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is here on the Fancy Lad podcast, we do not discriminate.
Well, no. Of course not.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, but I still said it,
Right. I mean, a lot of times things that go without saying still bear repeating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, from time to time.
From time to time.
So, but, call me crazy. I still think that we should stick with this whole hip-hop theme for this new season.
I mean, we've gone one episode so far. Why not try to keep it up?
Right. And, I don't need to remind you of the infamous Wedgwood episode.
Please don't.
No. And, I mean, when you think about skateboarding, there's a lot of hip-hop brands associated.
There are a lot of hip-hop brands associated. Would you like to list 5 of them right now? Go.
I will. Shorties.
Mm-hmm.
DGK.
Okay.
Ghetto Child.
Well, yeah.
I'm not done.
Okay, because you look like you might be done.
I am not done,
Mhm.
in case you were wondering.
Mhm.
I would consider Gold Wheels.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, they have Cameo in their video.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much more hip-hop than that.
Right. I would also consider when Wu-Tang were making skateboards.
Did they make skateboards?
Well, they had... I don't
Was
know.
it a
there
collab
There
with
were
Zoo
Wu-Tang
York?
graphics. Okay, so Zoo York. There you go.
Oh, fuck. God damn it.
Yeah, you answered my fifth one.
Damn it. Bing, 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 bing. Ah, damn it. You won. Yes. God, man. All right. Well, here's your prize money.
Okay, this is all Monopoly money, but thank you.
I know. And unfortunately, that's all we had left for rent for the jungle.
Well, it's cute that you kept it in a teeny miniature briefcase, and I appreciate that.
Well, that's actually my cute, teeny miniature briefcase, and I'm going to need that back.
Well, what am I going to carry this money in?
I don't know what that. How about the cute, teeny briefcase you brought?
All right, well, I was using that for my Nutter Butters, but I guess I can eat those real quick.
I was going to say we could eat those on a break,
Mm-hmm.
and then we could come back, perhaps, with a guest.
Perhaps,
And you know what? Maybe sticking to the theme.
if we happen to find one,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic.
And I hope they're not allergic to peanuts, because we are going to be breathing it over Zoom.
And that would suck, because there's a lot of good peanut-related candy bars out there.
There are a lot of good peanut butter related candy bars out there.
Hell, I'll even say it right now.
All right, well, you want to list 5 of them?
Yeah, I do.
All right, go for it.
Paydays.
Oh, I love paydays. Go.
Whatchamacallits.
I don't know if is there
Fast
peanut-
break.
Okay, yep, fast break.
Nutrageous.
Uh-huh.
Snickers. And
Okay.
because you're not counting the 2 Reese's back to back,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to go with Take 5.
I love Take 5. They're so good.
Yep.
That was oh man. Okay. Well, anyways, maybe we should take a break real quick so we can eat those.
Hey, why don't we take 5?
Nice.
Let's do.
Ow.
Yeah.
Life as a southern sheriff can be pretty taxing. Taxing on the mind, taxing on the body, and taxing on the soul. That's why when I'm feeling my most decaffeinated and dehydrated, I reach for a mocha sombrero. Mocha sombrero. A Mexican-style chocolate stout with with additions of coffee and vanilla. All right, no, I'm trying to do the script here. All right, you know, if you're just going to keep doing that. Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, it's got coffee. It's got coffee and it's got vanilla. I don't care if you're doing the back. It's got coffee and vanilla, and it's a stout recipe. And the malt flavors, the sweet vanilla. Jesus, oh my God. You know, this is very distracting. Very distracting. You know, if you want to know more about Mocha Sombrero from Clown Shoes Beer, why don't you go ahead and visit clownshoesbeer.com. Go on now, get it.
Yeah.
And we are back.
Oh, we are back, and that was a good break.
Ah, God, fantastic break. You know, needless to say, one of those breaks you just dream about.
And I was going to tell you about how much I've been dreaming about breaks, but I'll leave that for the Break Dream podcast.
Exactly. And, you know, also, we do have a special guest that we're going to introduce, but before that, I just wanted to... Oh,
man,
God.
what was that?
That was a Clown Shoes brand beer.
Oh, that was a Clown Shoes brand beer. What kind was that?
This is a haze cake right here.
Ooh, that sounds good, but I'm going to hydrate myself, and I'm going to do that with a... Oh, yeah, that's a liquid death right there.
Ah, gotta love it.
You got to.
You gotta love the liquid death.
But anyways, as we said, we did get a guest.
And I'm happy to say that it, you know, fell into our guidelines of a guest. You know, a pro skater from the golden age of skateboarding who, you know, happened to ride for sort of a hip-hop associated company.
Oh, yeah.
And is a fucking legend, you know?
Now, I mean, are they British? Because it kind of sounds like it from the way you said that.
Fucking legend.
Yeah. Or is it Australian?
Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Australia, New Zealand, a little difficult to tell.
I mean, without further ado, let's introduce our very special guest, Kanten Russell.
Hello.
Thank you. I'm glad I qualified with all those criteria.
Honestly, it's a hard list to check off these days, you know?
It is, yeah. That's a high bar to hit.
Well, you know, we did have a sort of a mission statement last season on the podcast that we were going to get every single Zero rider on the podcast from past and present. And then we thought every single Black Label rider. But now we're rolling our dice.
Yep.
And we're trying our luck with Osiris riders.
You're getting risky now.
Well,
we're getting into the thick of it, really.
We did already have Corey Duffel skate for Osiris, right?
Nope.
Wasn't he in Feed the Need? Who am I thinking of?
Oh, yeah, you're right. What am I talking about? Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yes. It was after my, yeah, one down. You're right, past and present. Yep.
And, you know, we're going to double up on that Zero and Osiris rider with John Rattray.
Nice.
Eventually. You know.
Yeah. Double whammy. Got it.
But, you know, let's be here and now.
Right.
Ken,
I like it.
Thanks for being on the podcast. You know, I was telling you that we're, you know, streamed The Storm last week, and let me just say it was one of my favorite videos growing up. And it was also, I bought it right after my family got a DVD player. And
nice.
There were only 2 videos that got released on DVD. The very first 2 videos was Rodney Mullen versus Day One Song Round 2 and Osiris the Storm.
Actually, and I think maybe Birdhouse the End around that time too, you got DVD dropped.
I remember not liking that because they changed the David Bowie song.
Right.
So I refused to get that version of the
Yeah, keep the VHS for the legitimate version.
You're not a Petty fan.
I don't think it worked well with the part, and no,
it wasn't
not really
as
a Petty fan.
Okay, well, both valid. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it didn't work as well for sure.
But
yeah, we were able to get away with a lot of different things back then, and before people started really clamping down on the music rights and all that. So I think we barely squeaked that all in there.
Oh, now you don't even have a chance with YouTube.
Oh yeah, with the
No,
algorithms.
you're done.
Yeah. All those robots they got working for them.
Yep.
You can't go up against a robot.
Well, I don't know. Birdhouse Tony might be able to pull some strings, and maybe he'll rectify that soundtrack for you.
Yeah, he was on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
That's true.
That's huge.
He did do a kickflip at Wayne Brady's request.
Yep.
So good.
But Osiris, yeah, they're always, this is what I'm getting at. They're on the cutting edge of technology. You know, they had the G-bag.
Yep.
They had the pants that clipped into the matching shoes.
Right. The small SAG gear. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
SAG.
I love it. I love the
small like athletic gear.
Yeah.
I love the innovation.
That was actually Peter's idea.
Smart guy.
It's a good idea.
Also one of my favorite skaters as well. It's definitely favorite styles. But wait, did you say you were also in San Diego? Or I
met Pete when he's still very early on, when he was unsponsored, kind of undiscovered. The guy who used to film a lot of the World and Plan B video footage back then. He's actually the one who kind of said, "Hey, I got this kid. He rips.
Socrates?
Lives in Claremont. Nope, Dave Schlossbach." And he also, Dave probably got his start early back with like the Golding videos and 8th Street.
Yep.
And then he kind of graduated to doing a lot of this stuff, shooting a lot of footage for World and Plan B. But he just said, "Hey, I got this kid that rips. You should go check him out." We went to Mervin's parking lot. You remember the store Mervin's?
No.
I don't think we had Mervin's, Zoe.
Oh yeah, maybe not. Yeah, I forgot. It might be a West Coast thing. But yeah, there was this store. It was just like so classic. Curbs, and he just came out of nowhere going a million miles an hour and did this super crazy slappy no slide crooked grind crazy combo. Mm-hmm. And he like rolled away and pulled out this huge bottle of Mountain Dew because the pants were so baggy back then. And I was like, who is this kid? He looks like he's on crack with all this caffeine. Like he was just super hyped up. He was always charismatic and always got a lot of energy.
Was the Mountain Dew in a cargo pocket?
Dude, I think it was in the regular pocket.
The regular side pocket.
Regular side pocket.
The Reggie pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I forget the Reggie pockets exist because everything's always in my cargos, you know?
Well,
that's that was my introduction to Pete. And was
he the one who filmed the troubleshooters part? That filmer?
Schlossbach, no. Steve Salentani did the troubleshooters video.
I'm not familiar with his work, but
Schloss actually was pretty big, like really well known on the East Coast too, because he's the first person to really get footage of Andy Stone and Scott Johnston.
Oh, nice.
Yep. So he came back and had all this footage of a bunch of DC stuff, and I was like, wow, this is pretty sick. And Chris Hall and Ho-Jin Chang and all those guys.
Like Scott Johnston during like the Mad Circle days?
Maybe even before.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was always good.
Yeah. Well, I just want to, mention some credit to your skating while you stand out. First of all, that you're kind of a heel flip guy.
I would say people probably think of that just because of my more recent clips are probably have a lot more of those in there just because it's easy for me to do in my 40s.
Well, you did that in that troubleshooters part. You do a really good heel flip back 50, which is a very unusual trick.
Yes,
I think
remember
maybe thinking like Marcus McBride doing that trick down Hubba Hideout's one of the only other times I can even think of that trick being done.
I remember that. Yeah.
But you also do a lot of backside heels, which Tom Tweak here, he's no stranger to.
That's kind of my thing. That's kind of my go-to.
He actually backheeled a 5-stair.
Yeah,
that's you can believe that.
That's one more stair than 4, but don't get too excited. It's one less than 6.
Yeah. No, that's it's funny you say that because back heels were kind of harder. Backside flips were way easier for me, so I probably did a lot more backside flips, and I'd always try to throw a back heel in there every once in a while just to switch it up.
Right. You do have that alley-oop backside flip over the handrail, actually. Now that
that last trick. Yeah, that was like That was actually the first trick that really kicked off that whole video, according to the filmer Celentani.
Mhm.
Like, we were filming clips just in general for whatever was happening. And when we decided we were going to commit to that video, I think I filmed that as like one of the first tricks. And he said that was the one that got everyone motivated to commit to the video. Because at the time, we were all kind of relatively unknown. It was me and Smolik and Mayhew and Chad Knight. I mean, we all had sponsors and we were all doing stuff and getting coverage. But I think everyone like committing to that video and putting it out kind of helped put a lot of people on the map.
Do you remember your sponsors, all of them? Well, you were skating for, was it Planet Earth during the storm?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember the rest of your sponsors?
During that era, I mean, yeah, Osiris, Planet Earth. Well, I kind of was revolving through a few different truck sponsors for various reasons. But I remember Rodney always hooking me up like with Tensor, Dark Star, Speed Demons, all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Nice. Love those slider base plates. I don't know why they don't bring those back.
That was pretty wild. I was not sad to see those go. Well, I mean, he sent me like some of the first trucks, and like when he hit me up, first of all, I thought someone was pranking me because it was just so random. He's like, "Hey, what's up? This is Rodney."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Okay, yeah, who is this really?" He's like, "No, Rodney, I'm doing this truck company. I want you to ride for it. We're developing these like higher profile versions." And I was like, "Well, that's perfect because I need something to help with wheel. I like the higher profiles like indies because otherwise I get wheel bite."
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me some of the first trucks, the first batch, and we were up north somewhere on a skate trip, and something happened where something cracked or something blew up on it. And I called him and I was like, "Dude, these trucks are like not holding up. I don't know what's going on." And he was super like offended. Not that I pointed it out, but he had a super long physics explanation as to why it wasn't working and that they had already fixed it. And he just kind of let loose on a bunch of terminology and mathematic formulas. And at the end I was like, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but if you want to just send me some more trucks, that'd be cool. Yeah. So Rodney, he's just super smart. And I think he was always trying to like put things into terms we would understand, but he definitely threw some knowledge on me that day. And I was like, "Dude, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure you got it covered. Just send out the trucks. We're good."
Yeah, he was born for the TED Talk, really.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I remember also, too, growing up, it was like, I don't know if you were at the demo, but I remember going to the 8-Ball skate park to buy a board and in Bellingham, Massachusetts, 8-Ball skate park. And I went to go buy a board and skate the park, and then I saw the poster of the Osiris team coming to the 8-Ball skate park. And I asked the guy, and it was like that scene from Grind where they're talking to Tom Green, and he's like, "Oh no, the poster's still up. That was actually this weekend. You just missed it. They're just here."
I think I remember that. What was that? Early 2000s, right? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we came through. I think actually there was a photo of it. I was going to do my research because I was telling you when you asked me to get on the podcast, I was like, "Man, I need to dig up some of my Northeast stories and refresh my memory because I just don't know like the names of all the spots we went to all the time." So I remember that skate park. I just didn't remember the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there was a magazine article where there was a photo of me backside flipping, transferring, I think, out of the bowl or off a bank into the bowl, maybe.
Yeah. That classic. It was a very small park. Yeah, it had the bowl to bank combo.
And I remember I was talking to Donnie Barley about that spot, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we skated there, did a demo." He's like, "Let me guess, you backside flipped into the." I was like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" He's like, "I know you." See, that was my go-to trick, like the backside flip, even more than the heel flip. So he called it out before I even told him.
Yeah. Well, also with your skating, you got some insanely big drops, like some insane ollies, straight ollies, but also 180s. Fakie ollies, half cabs, but also, like I mentioned to you via text message, surprisingly tech too. The backside Smith, kickflip out, back Smith, backside flip out, fakie Smith kick flip out.
Yeah, I gotta bring that back.
A lot of Smith kick flips out, actually, now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I was just running with something that I wasn't seeing anyone else doing, because you got to remember, the scene that I was around, it's not like all of us were skating big gaps. Like the majority of stuff we'd be skating would be like schoolyards. So the sessions would be like me and Mayhew and like Smolik and Brian Emmers and all these super tech wizards.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I'm just trying to keep up with them. I was like, well, what am I going to do? Because these guys are killing it. So I just try to come up with different things that they weren't doing.
Did you kind of feel the peer pressure from them?
I think I just wanted to, I don't know, it was just like a challenge, right? Like I knew that I could do some of the bigger stuff, which almost kind of came easier for me. So it was just like a challenge to try to like do something different,
Yeah. That first ollie was insane in the storm part, where it's almost like it's like into a hill.
Yeah, Long Beach.
Yeah. The filming too, it's like if you ollie and it looks big and then still has to pan down for the rest of the ollie into the hill. Which, legend status. But
that was the second time I did that, actually. The first time we were in Long Beach and we just kind of saw it and someone kind of dared me to do it. Mm-hmm. And it was like just randomly did it and didn't really even bother to try to film it legitimately. And so then later, I don't know how anyone saw that, but I think it was Rick Kosick or someone was like, yeah, if you go back and do that, we'll get you the cover. So we went back and that was the day I shot it for the cover.
Of Big Brother?
Yeah.
Damn, I don't remember that issue, but I wish that I did.
I think Dmitry Ilyasovich shot it. Do you remember him, Dmitry?
Yeah. Well, I remember him all from the Big Brother videos.
Yeah, Big Brother videos, Jackass.
Yeah, I'd watch those religiously along with the CKY videos.
Dmitry was an amazing photographer. I mean, I don't know if he's still shooting, but the first photos I ever saw from him, I told him, I was like, dude, you got a sick eye for photos.
Yeah.
I think he's from the East Coast, maybe also, or no? Am I wrong? I thought he came out from back east first.
I'm not sure. Obviously Phelps was from the East Coast, and I almost assume Retta is too for some reason.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not sure. Yeah. It's got to be the accent,
Oh yeah, he's got the accent, and a lot of good stories.
Is he from Long Island? He seems like he's from Long Island.
Probably from New York.
I'm pretty sure it was New York. I'm just not sure where.
Yeah. And then, just to go down just off of my head, just the questions I wanted to ask you. First of all, fakie trays down big sets, crazy. But there's one ollie that you did where immediately after you land,
here it comes.
You like grab something from your mouth. I just wanted to know what the deal was with that. I was just always curious.
So that was on tour. I think we were in Sweden, and it's just a typical show up to a different country. First thing out of everyone's mouth is like, we have a spot for you. And it would always be something ridiculous, some big gap, double set, rail, something.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'd be like, no, I'm not feeling it. This is dumb. Or, you're kind of getting set up. Like if you don't do it, you're kind of looked at as like failing the whole team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got like 100 kids there. Like, here's a spot. Let's see somebody jump it.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes we would just like, okay, I don't feel like doing this. You go do it. Okay, Chad and you jump this. I don't want to look at this or whatever. But that one, it was just like a cold morning or something. And yeah, I flew over, landed, and I thought something flew out of my mouth or something, but it was a false alarm. So I was just kind of tripping. It was just like one of those things where you instinctively just try to wipe your face and whatever.
Yeah. You thought that you might have lost a tooth or something mid-air? Like something
no,
flew
just
out
like
of your
some
mouth?
like spit flew out, or who knows, maybe something flew off. I don't know. It just like it felt like something flew out, and then it just was nothing there. So I was like, whatever, roll away.
Yeah. Well, I was just curious. I didn't know if a bug flew in your mouth mid-ollie, That was a possibility.
Could have. I mean,
Yeah.
it's happened. It has happened.
It could still be living in there.
That's right. I had enough time to pull it out of my mouth and remove it all in the midair.
You had enough time to pull it out, look at it, and think, you know what? I'll keep you, and then put him back in.
That's it, exactly. If you slow-mo, you could probably see it happen. 100%. That has happened before. Probably one of the bigger jumps I did was in Tampa. I think it was one of the Transworld videos, maybe Interface or Transmission or one of those. But it was
Sixth Sense around then.
Yeah, I think maybe a Sixth Sense. So it was like a big double set ollie at night, Tampa downtown, and I had missed the cut at the contest, and I was like, well, I don't have to worry about that anymore. And so it was the same thing. We got this big double set for you. Maldonado tried to ollie it, but they put this electrical box at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, well, what do you want me to do about it? The spot's done. And like, well, you could try to go over the rail. And Jamie Thomas was there, and he's like, yeah, if you want to try it, I'll set up the photographer. And like Jamie was like orchestrating like who's going to shoot the photo. And I think Ryan was there, Ryan G, and he said he didn't have any flashes. So Boston, Jeff Kula was there.
Jeff Kula.
Yeah, you guys know him?
No,
Jeffrey Kula. He was a pretty well-known photographer at that time, but he's from Boston.
Yeah.
And he said he had all the flashes and set up, and he went and set up all the flashes like across the street. I had no idea if the photo was going to turn out because the flashes were so far away, and it was like such a big setting. But yeah, we went for it, and it was a really busy street, so I only had a chance to go like every 5 minutes, which is super annoying because you're kind of like cold and not really ready to snap an ollie that big. But in between the traffic, I tried it a few times, and then I landed on it, and my board like not only broke, but it shattered. Like there was smoke coming up off of it. Like I could see like literally like sawdust flying in the air. I was like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
And Jamie kind of rides the same setup I do, so he let me use his board, and he was filming a second angle. And
what size board was it?
We were riding like 7/7/8. So we both got our boards made at the same place at Watson Laminates, and we both basically rode the same shape, same kind of setup, everything. So I knew it was good to go. And so
7/7/8, no concave.
Little bit of concave, not much,
Yeah.
just a little bit. Yeah, probably the same mold. I mean, we had very similar setups. So yeah, I rode on his, and I landed it again, and it cracked. And I was like, okay, this is, that feeling when you've like come too far to like turn away. I was like, okay, I gotta at least try to roll away from this. So the next try, in the air, I look down and see my foot back on the tail, and I know it's just gonna snap. So like in the air, I moved my foot over the bolts, landed, and rolled away.
Wow.
There's that much time to actually like think about it and like look down and see it and actually adjust your foot in the air. That was the only time I was ever able to do that. Was that much hang time.
It's like a Looney Tunes moment.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah.
That would be crazy to have that much time to think.
Yeah.
It was like, look down. It's like, I got to move my foot or this board's going to snap.
Yeah. I can't say that we can relate, but I respect it. I respect the craft. I respect the hell out of it.
It was the same thing. It was like tons of kids were there because of the contest. I mean, I don't know if you could see it that well in the footage. I remember like people were practically doing the wave across the street. It was just like 100 people lined up, and it was like 1 a.m, by the way.
Yeah.
So just classic Tampa antics.
There's this one handrail by Northeastern. I don't know. I've never actually seen the footage, but I remember going there years ago and people saying that you did a trick over it, but it's like a double set handrail, which, sounds like you would have done a trick over it, but I don't know if you can tell me if you actually remember doing something at the Northeastern University.
Is it in front of like a building?
It's
kind of.
Well, there's plenty of buildings around, but it's right like next to the Ruggles train station that goes into the campus, which, you know, you probably wouldn't have even known that there's a train station there because it just
Or
looks like
campus.
a door.
Yeah.
But
And it was like a double set with like a little bit of an angle to the rail, maybe slightly.
it's a double set, black rail, and it's just, you know, to the
And the rail was kinked, right?
Just to the left, yeah.
Yeah,
Kinked
rail's
rail. And
Okay,
it's just,
so I
it's just a
remember that.
drop. It's just a straight, just pop and drop, pretty much.
I mean, I think the footage was in a progression video because Mark Nichols filmed it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember seeing it in a video. I think it was progression or some kind of weird tour video because we were just traveling. And I remember, I thought it was an apartment building, but I could have been wrong. But some lady was up on the 3rd or 4th floor, just like going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I know what it was. There was a security at the bottom. Do you think that was legit? A security guard station at the bottom, like where you'd kind of maybe start from? Because there was a security guard camped out there, so I'm assuming it was part of the university. But this guy was just like camped out there, and I went to go try it, and of course he came out and said, "Get the hell out of here." And we went around the corner, and Chad Knight was there, and he had his girlfriend with him. And I was like, "Hey, I need you to go distract the security guard." So the girl totally went into the security guard area and was like totally flirting with this dude. And like she kept like looking to check in on us. And I was like, nope, not yet. And she just kept chatting this dude up. And I had like 3 tries or something. And then I made it. And then we told her it's all good. And she left. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And how's the security guard doing? Is he okay? Or
He was probably devastated.
Yeah,
he thought he was going to
seriously.
have a good time. I mean,
God
she was
damn.
just young girl, good looking. Like he was like, yeah, I can't believe this. My dream just came true. This
Yeah.
girl just walked up, started chatting me up. Like, what's going on?
I knew this uniform was good for something.
Exactly.
Well, that, you know, it must have been just a crazy time in skateboarding, having all that, just all those means, you know. What was the story with the Josh Casper being flown in with a helicopter? Where was that?
That was like at a skate camp.
But what
Josh-
was the reasoning behind the helicopter?
Josh was influenced very heavily by wrestling, like WWF and all that. And
Yeah.
The Rock was like his idol.
Mm-hmm.
So
Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah. He I think I asked him that one time. I was like, what's up with all the you know, circus acts going on, you know, like it was either that or getting pulled up by a limo, or it was always something, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, dude, I just needed to do something to kind of like stand out and create a following. And he's like, I just was watching what The Rock was doing with wrestling, and I just decided to try to do the same thing. Like, just, I don't know, he was always trying to kind of go a little bit outside the box with that stuff just to get the attention, which I didn't know if anyone was really caring or paying attention to it, but apparently they did. And then the Kasperholics kind of thing all happened, and I think that was even Rodney's idea. But yeah, it was, like you said, it was a weird time in skateboarding, right? Like anything went. I mean, there was a lot of different, you know, you got, like you said, with BAM and CKY kind of like
Yeah.
going into Jackass. And
Well, that's what it reminded me of when Bam took the private jet for the rock audio video. So I didn't know if he was inspired by that.
Right.
I think it was like anything goes to kind of like get attention. And not that he wasn't trying to like back it up with skating, but I think he was trying to just do it a little bit differently because, you know, there's a lot of us all kind of doing crazy stuff, and it was all fun and friendly competitiveness between, you know, people like myself and him and Jamie and Jeremy Ray and all those guys trying to see how far we could take it.
It seemed more like a rock star era of skating for
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
reason.
And, you know, just like in the Rockstar era, you know, when the show is over, it's over. Like, it could be devastating, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute. Like, I'm like, this is real life. Like, wait a minute. What do I do next? You know?
Yeah, I learned that from the song by Cypress Hill, Rock Superstar.
100%.
Yeah.
Cypress. Oh, man. I will say this, like, I always enjoyed going back east and like mixing it up with everybody because, I mean, as you guys know, it's just different, right? Like, especially back then, it was just culturally,
Mm-hmm.
people weren't traveling as much before then. And like you said, finally in the late 90s, there was actually means to get around more and travel. So we were able to kind of go to New York and go to Boston and go to places. So it was cool just to like see different like styles and cultures of skateboarding. And I think it was good because a lot of people just don't really get exposed to different styles and different spots, and the way people, like you said that on our earlier podcast, you were comparing East Coast to like Europe. It's totally true. Like you would see something in a magazine and be like, oh, that was kind of a sick photo of somebody doing something cool on that cellar door. But then when you go to the spot, you're like, dude, that was 100 times gnarlier than what that photo showed. Like, how do you even explain that to kids that wasn't just like a frontside pop shove it? It was like the gnarliest spot ever to get to, you know?
Yeah, and it's nice embracing the, you know, each person's differences being the product of their environments, you know?
Yep.
So
I don't think a lot of people got the credit for what they were doing on those spots. It was just really hard to comprehend how crazy that was.
Yeah, it would be nice if it was a time where, like, you know, like those virtual reality goggles exist, you know? It's like, here's the trick, here's the spot, and now, like, put on these VR goggles, and you're at the spot, and you can feel the texture and see the angles, and be like, oh, okay, this is insane.
Or how rough the ground was, and how painful it was to slam.
No, how would you even approach this? You know?
Just like that
all
spot,
those things.
Just like that thing in Boston. I mean, you can't like bail out of that trick a whole bunch of times. You better land and roll away, or that ground is going to eat you alive.
Yeah, a lot of the ground out here is like that, which is unfortunate.
That's not a bad idea, though. A VR skate video. I feel like Osiris would have done that if they're around today.
That's all Tony Mag, man. He was all about technology. We want to be the first to drop it on DVD. I mean, you know, credit to him for pushing all that stuff, because at the time none of us were about it. You know, like we were just like, look, let's just skate. And he's like, no, we need to do this. We need to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, they were putting out like 2 double-page spread ads in every magazine, and it was a lot, you know?
I mean, it must have really, put you on the map in the limelight just out of nowhere. Like, especially after
I don't know if we wanted to be in the limelight at that time. We didn't know we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you got the bronze. I'm assuming that's your pro model shoe that you have in your office there, whatever Osiris bronze shoe you got there.
There's something behind here.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
There it is.
Beautiful. Why don't they, you know?
You ever wear that thing?
You know what? When I first got it, I didn't even realize right away that it was actually a legitimate shoe dipped in bronze. I was like, oh, so whoever crafted the statue was a craftsman. And I was like, oh, wait, it's just dipped in bronze. Yeah, I should try that on, actually, if I had some smaller feet.
Yeah.
Oh, is it just like stock, like demo size, like 9.5?
Yeah, I think the stock size was like 9.5 or a 10.
Yeah.
And I wear like a 12. There's no way I was fitting in that thing.
When did they
bind your toes?
When did they give you the tablet of appreciation? Was that?
That was all the same night. It was at the premiere of the Storm. They gave us all everyone who had a pro model shoe got that bronze shoe, like dipped in bronze, and then they gave us these plaques of appreciation.
Nice.
It's pretty funny.
Well, they wanted their employees to feel valued. You know, I get that.
I think it was just to go like what you're saying, like the whole show thing, and just trying to live everything bigger than life. I mean, that tour you were talking about at the 8-Ball skate park, that was after the Storm. It was like the victory lap tour kind of mentality, and it was called the Aftermath tour.
Yeah.
Yep. So Tony Mag wanted it to be like rival to the Warped Tour Vans, and I was like, dude, why? Like, we don't need that, you know? I mean, there was like an extra bus with like a band, a DJ, a dancer, you know? Like, we had a dancer on our bus.
Yeah.
So that was the whole thing. Like, go do a demo, go to do a show after party. The after party would either have a band or a DJ going. We had a dancer.
Well, that's why I mentioned the hip hop influence, you know?
Oh man, it was hilarious.
He must have brought, though, you know, just just that showmanship must have brought just such a certain energy to the demos, though, that, you know, was a unique experience for everyone who showed up.
Yeah, I don't know. In the moment, I don't know if we really saw it, but yeah, looking back at it for sure. I mean, it's hard to see it when you're in it, right? But looking back on it, yeah, I don't think there's a lot of that going on anymore. People aren't spending that kind of money, which they probably shouldn't.
Yeah. Except, you know, the legendary, I just got to mention that, you know, you debunked that story that I heard from the Grind Queen there about the Dave Mayhew D3, where he showed up late for a meeting and they just happened to give it to him.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dave kind of talked about it on the 9 Club, which is great because it's always good to have the people tell their own story. But like he said, I mean, there were no random meetings with a bunch of shoes on a table.
Yeah.
And Dave was never late to anything.
Yeah.
So like if there was a meeting like that, he would have been picking out the first shoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
like, I mean, if someone was going to be late to a meeting, it probably would have been Pete, because he probably would have showed up the next day or something. I mean, it was just like his style to roll in after the fact.
I think T-Bone said pretty much the same thing right around this time, that like, you know, same thing you're saying, that does not seem accurate whatsoever.
Oh no, like, I mean, we did have some meetings, but it was never about like pick your shoe. Right. And by no means were we like designers either. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing. I mean, we gave whatever input we could. We told everyone what we liked or didn't like, but
right.
Dave was really the only one who actually had that concept dialed in, where he knew he wanted to do something kind of outside the box and had the idea with the loops. But it was just because his first shoe wasn't selling at all. And he wanted to do something totally, you know, outer space like, which obviously it got pulled off because that thing looked like it was from outer space.
Yeah. When you do something outrageous, it really stands out.
It was outrageous. I mean, when I saw the first sample when we were in Japan, I was like, wow, okay. Like, is that skatable? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, even back then when thick, puffy shoes were the style, it was extra puffy, right? I mean, I never skated in it. I don't know how people skated in it. It was pretty puffy, but I mean, it worked.
Yeah, I wanted to get a pair and try skating in them.
Right. I was gonna.
We had a correspondence with Osiris when they re-released the D3.
We both want we want D3s. We've always wanted D3s.
And they reached out to us and they were like, "Do you guys want some shoes?" And I was like, "Yeah, can you send us all D3s?" And they backed off on the offer because they were too worried that we were going to make fun of them.
They said they were afraid we were going to clown them.
Yeah, and I tried to reassure them and say, "No, listen, we're actually a big fan. We just want to make a loving tribute to the shoe and the era of the storm.
We're not YouTubers here,
and
we're not here for a quick TikTok."
They did not believe me, so we never actually got the D3. But you know,
well, you never know. It's never too late because somehow they're still selling them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
still mad. I'm sorry.
I guess
it's become an iconic shoe. You got to respect that.
I don't really talk to a lot of people over there, but I do know some of those guys, so we'll have to try and make that happen for you just for entertainment. I mean, I love what you guys are doing because, as you know, growing up in the 90s, it was really about the kind of era of having fun in skateboarding and the crazy ads and not taking things too seriously. Like, we need more of that for sure back in skateboarding. So who cares if you make fun of the shoes? Like, that's even better.
Yeah, the no rules mentality. But I mean,
that's why I got into it, right?
It's tough.
No rules.
It's tough because, people get rules because they want to make money. Yeah, I know. That's where it gets tricky.
That is where it gets tricky because I don't necessarily want to make money, but apparently I need to make money in order to exist.
I know. It's a vicious cycle.
I don't know how
sometimes when you're out having fun and not worrying about it, that's when you actually make the money, Like, the money will come if you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. You guys just got to keep at it, and it's all gonna come around.
Right. We're not going to give up. Trust me. But I
The fancy lad shoe,
do appreciate it. I've been waiting to do a collab with a shoe brand. So I was hoping for cons, but I don't know if they'll ever do it. We've worked with them somewhat, but
maybe you should have reapproached Osiris and try to get the collab going there, and then the shoes will come in.
I will. It's not a bad idea, quite frankly. But so so the last was subject to change, the last video part you had before you retired?
Yes. Yep.
Mm.
So that was the second Osiris video. That's why I totally forgot about Feed the Need, because I remember that video, but it was almost like a whole complete different shift for the brand. So
oh yeah. It was a way different vibe.
I think how it goes, like people are just sort of trying to roll with the changing times of skateboarding. And I think they were trying to figure out a way to sort of just kind of change the look to what they thought people wanted. But in reality, if they probably just maintained what they already had going on.
Yeah.
And then, things always come full circle, right? Like imagine them maintaining that when DJK blew up and, that whole resurgence happened with streetwear and everything that's happening right now. Like they probably would have been on point.
Right.
But when you switch up your whole image too much, it just backfires.
Yeah, they did have a total rebrand there. Yeah, Subject to Change was still a really good video. I for some reason I remember, I don't know, did Chris Pastras have anything to do with Osiris? Because I remember when Ali Boulala got in the company, I remember seeing an ad with Chris Pastras handing him like a briefcase full of money and like shaking his hand. I don't know if he was just a hired actor for the ad or if he was
actually... He I actually listened to that one. You guys did something with Chris, which is cool because we grew up in the same era also. And yeah, he ended up like helping to manage the brand or manage the team for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I think between Stereo kind of being on hiatus, and he just, I don't know how he kind of got into that role, but maybe right place, right time. But yeah, he ended up managing the team and going on tour with us and getting Ollie on the squad. And I think maybe even Dylan Reeder and a few other dudes. So
yeah. Well, that, that right there, that's my dream, to become the brand manager and the creative director for Osiris. So
right.
With a briefcase full of cash.
Exactly. I mean, I know they'll give me the means for that. So that's part of it. That comes along with it.
And also one Ayu Buyada.
Yeah. Ali Boulala.
Yeah, Ayu Buyada. But
not to mention Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina.
Mr. Dabalina, Mr. Bob Dabalina.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Dobstaff.
Another
Mr.
legend.
Bob Dabalina.
Yeah, Dobstaff was like a spot killer.
Yeah.
He was just so ambitious, and sometimes I think he didn't know how to present what he was thinking all at the right time, but I don't know. I can't remember everything he said in that Thrasher interview, but they definitely set him up to say some crazy stuff, and it definitely killed it for him.
Yeah.
But when you're young, when you're young and you don't know, you're just having fun. And you just say whatever you want to say. I think that's when the industry started changing and trying to be too serious, right? Like people started taking things seriously, and I think that's what kind of killed it.
It was a different time. And that's happened, he's not the only one that's happened to, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ollie, we went on tour with Ollie, and we were in Australia, and Dustin Dolan was there, showed us all the spots. It was definitely good times.
And speaking of unskateable looking Osiris's, the Boulala shoe.
Yeah,
is probably the most unskateable looking.
I don't remember what that one
seen.
looks like.
It looked like something Cam would borrow from his friend. It was like a low top, like,
it was like a
boot.
boot.
Kind of like a Doc Martin look.
It was modeled after like the low cut Doc Martens. But he was trying to do something different. Because
I never skated them. I'm sure they felt different than they looked. I'm sure well, maybe not. Actually, they might have looked exactly like they did.
But hey, he skated in them, so I mean, it worked. But yeah, he wanted to. It was when people saw the samples, it was the same reaction, and he probably had the same mentality. Like, look, I don't care what people think. I'm gonna do something different.
I'm with you. I'm the kind of guy that says it doesn't matter what kind of equipment I have. It's like I still suck. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what this is. It's not the shoe. It's not my shoelace. It's not my board. It's not the trucks. It's not the wheels. It's not my amp. It's not my guitar. It's not anything. It's just me. You can't blame the tools.
Well, I'm sure people said it about the Kanten 3 as well.
No one would say that about the Kanten 3s. That's the most beautiful shoe that's ever existed.
But I remember, I was just going to mention Jason Dill having a pro shoe for
for DVS, the ones that smelled like fish.
Not DVS. It
those-
was like
there were ones that
like
smelled like
Savior or something before DVS.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it was the
okay.
weirdest looking like space shoe.
Mm.
It was like the only other space. It was like a space shoe. Like if D3 was like a dinosaur, D3 was like another like era space shoe, but this one was like a new age space shoe.
Mhm.
I just thought it was the weirdest skate shoe I'd ever seen at the time.
It makes you wonder, how do we even pull off everything we did at that time? We talk about skating like super raw, rough spots. Like,
Yeah.
how easier would it have been to do some of those tricks with like
Shoes that you
like
could feel your
functioning
board?
shoes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
7.5 boards and
Yeah.
huge
shoes. Yeah,
Doug
the shoe
Fun-
is as big
Doug
as the
Funny
board.
shoes,
Yeah, it's like skating with slippers. I can't believe you guys don't know Jeff Kula. He was like totally in the scene shooting all that stuff back then.
Oh, that must have been before our time. We were probably whippersnappers.
Where was he from?
Is that it?
No, that's is that in Boston?
That's in Boston.
Is that at the Mass Art Building?
So there's
Okay. Oh, no, that's at the Blick. People
okay,
still
that's at Blick.
People still credit you for that, honestly, for alling that.
so that
is another one. That
was the one of the security guards. So who knows? I mean, sometimes
Yeah.
you lose track of all the stuff you did. But if someone
Hey,
showed
you
me
either buy art supplies or you get the fuck out of here.
that is right down the street from the spot that I'm talking about. So very well, you could have been. I don't know.
I probably hit two
skate this.
spots with one session.
But no, but that double set at that's right off of Mass Ave, right across from Symphony Hall. People still do mention that. They're like, yeah, Kanten ollied that double set. No one else has ever ollied it or done anything.
I think it was just one of those classic things where they just took me there like, hey, no one's done this. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll try it.
Well, it must feel good knowing they're the only one person to skate the spot.
Yeah, I'm sure if someone wanted to, they'll probably do something else down that eventually. You know how it goes, like people recycle spots.
Yeah. There was another gap in Government Center that Josh Kasper ollied that people still are like, yep, that's the Kasper gap.
So funny.
Yeah.
That's classic. Actually, maybe a little bit earlier time period than those photos. I don't know why, but for some reason, I just had this Boston Red Sox hat, and it would show up in the magazines. And someone who knew me, who knew like Jamal Williams and a few other like Boston heads,
Yep.
they're like, "Yeah, what's up with that Kanten Russell dude? Always rocking Boston hats. Is he from Boston or?" And I was like, "I don't know, dude. I just like the hat. I was just always rocking it."
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
They're giving you guff for it.
They were just kind of trying to figure out, like, was I from there? Like, why was I repping the Boston hat?
Mm-hmm.
Just coincidence, but it's cool. It was a way to throw people off. I guess people keep people guessing.
Oh yeah, you got to keep them on their toes.
That's right. Yeah, I know. You don't know where I'm from.
There you go. Love that. It's a shame that Planet Earth never made a video while you were.
Well, it almost happened. Some of the footage that ended up being in the storm was originally meant for a Planet Earth video. And Dave Schlossbach, he was hired to put together the storm. But before that, he actually was putting together a Planet Earth video. But no one could ever agree on what that video should look like. Like there was a draft edit of some footage. Or maybe it's right after the storm. I can't remember. Because I think maybe some of the footage that didn't go into the storm I was holding for that, and then it ended up being like a 4-in-1 or something. But yeah, it was just, man, Dave had made up this mock intro that was so crazy and techno and industrial. It was really hard to watch. I mean, we saw the edit and everyone was looking at each other like, this is the video, and it totally got scrapped on the spot.
It was too like hardcore industrial.
Dude, it was weird. It was like a music video or something. It was like hardcore industrial music, just hard hitting.
Yeah.
And there was this footage of a dummy doll going over a waterfall, like with these quick cuts. It was so weird. I don't know what was going on, but needless to say, it was immediately scrapped. Yeah. And I don't think anyone was able to recover enough to even consider what the video might look like after that.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like it really fit the brand image there.
It didn't fit any brand image.
Yeah.
It was awful. And like, you got to remember, you had like people like Kenny Anderson in the room.
Yeah.
And it was not going to work,
Right. Yeah. Maybe that was also do you think it was like also a pitfall of the, I mentioned the band Mania at the time. I don't know. The dummy kind of reminded me of, this and the do host of the CKY2K intro. Maybe.
Yeah, they were trying to go too recreate
edgy. Something a little too edgy, exactly.
But it didn't. I mean, like, you're like sitting in a room with like Chris Miller and Kenny Anderson and all these dudes who are like probably the hands down the most stylish skateboarders of all times, and you're looking at that edit, and you're like, no,
yeah,
not gonna happen.
And then Kenny is like, I got a great idea for a skit. How about I nose manual across the entire United States of America?
Kenny was like, I don't know. He's always been very particular about his footage. I don't know how he is now compared to back then, but I remember there was this footage of him backflipping this 10-stair rail, and it was perfect every time. And he was like, "No, I'm never going to use this." And I was like, "Why? It's like perfect." And he's like, "I didn't really like the way I looked in that clip. Like he didn't like the way that his hair was blowing." And
interesting.
I mean, he was just like, "Yeah, it just didn't look right."
Oh, that's bullshit. His hair looks great in every clip.
I was like, man, this guy sees things that I don't see. He just was so, he just had a vision for what he wanted, and it probably lined up with how good he is as a skateboarder, but he definitely knew what he liked and didn't like. And that's why his parts are so damn good, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I guess the guy knows how to curate himself,
He does, man. He's got an eye for what looks good.
So you're saying that he saw that promo and he said, "You know what? I'm going to go apply for my passport."
Yeah,
you know what? Fuck this. I'm getting my passport right fucking now.
Oh, man, I don't know what I don't think anyone even had the ability to talk about what they just saw. It was pretty horrific.
Well, now that you're mentioning it, I hope that it still exists, because you've really intrigued me. Like, I really want to see it now.
And honestly, I don't want to. It doesn't sound too far off from a Fancy Lad edit. You know
what? You are right. Actually,
yeah.
If again, it was the wrong era.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, like you're right. I've seen some of the opening montages of your videos, and it's pretty spot on. Minus the crash test Emmy going over the waterfall. Yeah, but it might work right now. Actually,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Now that people are dumber, we might actually be able to get it.
Well, you guys are doing your own music,
but
it's perfect.
Thank you. Yeah, that was just because of YouTube, like I was mentioning earlier.
There's those damned algorithms. They forced us to be more creative.
I know. We had no choice.
Happy accidents. You know what I mean? It was meant to be.
Yeah, that's what you call a fourth child. This is more like an algorithm forcing you to be creative.
But once again, it's like, you need to think of the brand image. It's like, yeah, it would probably fit for Fancy Lad, but a brand like Planet Earth, you'd be like, what are you doing?
What are you thinking?
Yeah, this isn't anything close to hitting the mark.
No.
But
Chad Fernandez was on. I can't remember the whole. Oh, Frank Harada was on at that time too.
Legend Frank Harada?
He was on. Yeah.
Okay, so Frank Harada, not only legend from what I remember, the old Powell videos, but and the Foundation videos, obviously. But he claims that Bart Simpson was based off of him.
Oh, right.
First off,
Really?
yeah, that's a fun fact because he
I
said
never heard that.
because he
Matt
said
Groening was his neighbor.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Oh wow.
But I heard that.
And he was always like, "Don't have a cow, Mr. Groening.
Yeah, exactly. Cowabunga.
Cowabunga, Mr. Groening."
But
Dude, that is so crazy. I did not know this. I actually, because Frank and I were on Sims together at one point when Sims was still at NHS. And I remember staying at his house, and that's when he just kind of got off of Powell, maybe. He had filmed that Golden Grams commercial. I don't know if you guys ever saw that. He was like, it was in the era where, like, I think even Chet Thomas had a commercial or something, and then they filmed that movie Hook.
I was gonna say he was also an extra in Hook.
I was gonna say even Chet
Yeah, so
Thomas had a commercial.
Yeah,
Yeah, Chet Thomas had a commercial.
That crazy
yeah.
era where even Chet Thomas got
Even
a
Chet-
commercial.
I think.
Everybody was getting a commercial.
Yeah,
God damn! Well, I was born in the wrong era.
definitely.
I remember actually going with Frank Carrata to a commercial tryout, and it was in LA, and I felt like every skateboarder who was a pro in that era was there. I mean, even Jason Lee was there before he was even really hitting the acting spree.
I mean, everyone wants to see a kid take a bite of Golden Grams and then do an invert. You know, that was that was the time. It was
I was
this cereal gets me amped.
I'm telling you, you guys are getting a lot of new material for your next video. I'm telling you,
Mhm.
it's the Golden Grams. It's all that.
We're gonna be filming these commercials for the new video.
Hey, you know, I'm actually gonna hit up Post Miller, and you know what? Despite all of the unionization stuff, I'm gonna hit up Kellogg's.
There you go.
I'm gonna hit them up.
Mhm.
They probably
So-
got some extra
Because
money.
you've always
floating
wanted
around.
to be a dwarf, you know.
I've always
So,
wanted to be a dwarf.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be a scab as well. So I'm gonna hit up Kellogg's.
There you go.
I mean, I remember going to this tryout, and there was just people were just skating. I don't know, everyone was focused on trying to like do cool skate tricks, but the people, I think it was for a Mountain Dew commercial. Mountain Dew didn't give a damn about the skate tricks, right? They were just looking for someone who was looking spastic and crazy. And
Oh yeah,
Jonas-
frosted tips.
yeah, Jonas Ray, you know, rest in peace,
Yeah,
showed up,
Yep.
had green hair. He knew what he was doing.
Yep. Standing
And
out.
they were like, dude, that's it. That's it right there.
You've got it.
He's the one.
You're
Yeah.
the guy.
Jason Lee was doing the best backside flips over this bench that was like over waist high. And I was like, dude, what the hell? But you know, it wasn't his time.
Yeah. No, he had to wait for
He,
that.
he was waiting out for better movies like Almost Famous,
Yeah,
which
they're-
is my
they're
wife's
like-
favorite movie.
They're like, you know what? His name isn't Earl yet. We'll take the guy
Yeah,
with the
yeah,
green
too
hair.
early.
I
Too
don't-
early.
I don't even remember him in Almost Famous, actually.
Oh yeah, dude, he had
He's
a
the-
major part in that movie. That
Yeah, he's
movie
the
was-
frontman of Stillwater.
Yeah, he
Oh,
killed
right.
it.
He's
Yeah.
fucking awesome. That's it.
You don't remember it
because.
because he was so flawless of an actor. You forgot it was even Jason Lee.
Thank you. That is exactly what I was going to say. He did a very good job in that film. You're like, oh shit, it's Jason Lee.
I
You know?
forgot it was Jason.
It's
He
more
was-
like, oh shit, that was Jason Lee.
yeah, he was so in the role, and like you forgot who he even was. It's like I totally believed the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, Frank. So I was staying at his house, and I was still in high school. Every morning before I went to school, I saw that Golden Grams commercial, and so then I would hook up with him on the weekend and be like, dude, I just can't get away from that commercial. Every time I turn on the TV, it's on. He's like, yeah, man, I get paid every time that thing airs. I was like, dude, you must be like a millionaire. What the hell? He's like, hey, hold on, I gotta check the mail real quick. And he came in, he had another check. I was like, man, must be nice. Like, I'm telling you guys, you got to get that Golden Gram money for that next video.
I know. We're
Yeah,
trying
he-
to break into the entertainment industry. Trust me.
He opens up the envelope, a bunch of shattered cereal falls out. Aww.
Yeah, you guys are getting a lot of good material for the next one. I'm telling you, it's
But-
going to be.
But the reason why I was so excited when you brought up Frank Carrata was because also I've heard rumors that so from the late 90s when the 9 hit, you know, the Tony Hawk 9, all these
You know the one.
all these
Oh, yeah.
all these prefab parks came up around Massachusetts. and they all look the same. And they're almost all completely died out, besides just a couple of them that are still standing. But I heard they're all designed by Frank Hirata.
No, I mean, I don't know exactly all the details, but I'll be happy to defend Frank on this one. From what I understood, and I don't know if me and Frank really ever went into detail on it because it was many years after we were seeing each other a lot, but there was a big company or well-known landscape architect named Purkis Rose, and he did all the skate parks up and down California. And I think he got Frank involved to give him some technical advice on how to make them better. And I think Frank tried his best to like give input on what makes a good skate park, but ultimately, I don't think he was doing any of the drawings or really implementing anything himself. It was just like he was like a hired consultant. And so then when these parks didn't turn out the way everyone wanted them to, I think he got thrown under the bus and they're like, oh, Frank's just designing a bunch of shitty parks. But I don't think it was really like on him. I think it was just the designers, the architects just kind of did what they wanted to and did their best to interpret what he was telling them, but just totally missed the mark.
Yeah. There's still a couple of them out there, like the Amesbury Park, that still have that original sort of prefab vibe, but then they built on top of that like a half of a new park. So you'll have to.
Don't you love that?
I actually kind of do. Actually,
just covering up crust with something that's kind of better, but not all the way better. Yeah.
But I honestly, it is kind of nice to hit it's like, you know, we hated the parks when we were growing up, and then they built a bunch of new parks. Well, we're like, oh, let's go back to all these shitty parks.
Yeah, we actually
these are like, you know, the TF, if you will, the training facility.
I feel you guys on that. I mean, I spent time out in the New England area and did some projects. And the problem is that, like you said, people get really nostalgic about their home park and they don't necessarily want you to do something to replace it, right? Like you start to appreciate like these old crusty parks you grew up with. And if someone says, oh, we're just going to take this out and replace it with something that maybe you don't even like, it kind of doesn't really work. It's almost like you should just leave it the way it is, you know what I mean? And do something totally different somewhere else.
Right. Well, I mean, you designed the Lynch family skate park. Or
yep, I worked on that one.
Did. What did you work under Stantec?
Yep. So when I first started designing parks was like 15, 16 years ago at Site Design Group. And then I worked there for 4 or 5 years. And then the founder, you know, who did all the OG Arizona parks and a whole bunch of parks that everyone still rides, you know, Etnies, Lake Forest, all those ones. He's left and did his own thing called ASD, Action Sport Design. We were only doing that on our own, a very small group of us for maybe less than 2 years. And Stantec made a pitch to create a whole division within their company to do skate parks everywhere. Like they had designers in all parts of the world. Like, look, you tap into these guys and create skate parks everywhere. Mm-hmm. And so we tried it and it actually was working. But the problem was we were getting so many projects and we didn't have enough people to do them.
Yep.
They just didn't understand how to support something that specialized because, you know, you got architects and engineers and a whole bunch of people who are like, you got people who are literally working on like the George Lucas Museum in LA, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just, you know, we were like a small, very, very small piece of the pie that just was like off the radar, like the redheaded stepchild of the company, you know what I mean? So It just, you know, New Line Skate Parks came to me and made me an offer that just totally made sense because they had a whole team of people who already knew what to do and could handle that kind of capacity of doing a whole bunch of parks. But yeah, I mean, while I was at Stantec, we did a lot of projects and Lynch was one of them. And it was so weird because the day that we were going to fly to Boston, which is so weird because the head of sports and recreation, which is the division we were going to be under, was in Boston. So we were flying out to Boston to like kick off our whole thing working with Stantec. And the guy that I was working with and working under at that time, Mike McIntyre, I was like, hey, by the way, what happened to that Boston skate park that's supposed to happen like 20 years ago? And he's like, I don't know, let's give him a call. He like called up the Charles River Conservancy. I said, hey, this is Mike McIntyre. Me and Kanten Russell are flying out to Boston. We're just wondering what happened to that park. And she's like, perfect timing. We can't get it going. We can't get it approved. We can't get it permitted. No one can figure out how to get this like legitimately done in Boston because there's so much red tape with the DOT and the CRC and all these other acronyms that you probably don't even want to know about. And so we flew out there, had a meeting with them.
The DCR?
Yep, DCR. Yeah, There were so many agencies. So
OPP.
The day we landed, first day at Stantec, had a meeting with them, huge group in there. And at the end of the meeting, they just felt like they were comfortable that we could pull it off. And we started working on it. And that was the first step of a 4 or 5 year project. So I think the problem with that one is like, a lot of people think about the design and the skate features, but that really wasn't the problem with that project. It was the fact that they couldn't get it approved with all those agencies. They didn't know how to engineer it. They didn't know how to get the right insurance. And it was just a lot of meetings of red tape. That was half the battle.
Yeah. Well, and
a lot of cooks in the kitchen, as you guys know. Everyone and their brother wanted to have control of that park. They all wanted their input. Half the people are fighting over street stuff. Half the people are talking about having the biggest, deepest bowls ever. It was so crazy that at one of the first public meetings, there was probably over 100 people there. And in the back of the room, there was a fight that broke out with a skater who just wanted to move it forward with a good mix of tranny and some guy who was a quad skater. And I didn't even know what a quad skater was.
I was going to say, what is a quad skater?
What's a quad skater?
Roller skater.
Oh.
So in other words, they wanted to identify themselves and clarify to everybody. Like, hey, look, I just want to make sure you guys know I'm not a rollerblader. I'm a quad skater, so it's all 4 wheels. I was like, whoa, dude.
Wouldn't that be like an octo skater though? Because like there's 4 on each.
True.
It doesn't sound as good, right? So
I mean, I'm just wondering if they Wally a Jersey barrier, are they excited about all 4 down? Because what is that? Is that 1 foot? Is that half of each foot?
I think that's what it is. I think
they should want all 8 down.
I think they just want the 4 down.
Okay, well that's okay. That's I'm not gonna tell them what they should or should not want.
Yeah.
But the guy really wanted to had his voice heard, and he kept saying things like, "Well, us quad skaters," and well, don't forget about the quads. And the guy in the back was like, "Dude, enough already!" Like, he had enough. He tried to shut the dude down. They got into an argument, and they were literally about to fist fight in the back of the room. And that's Boston, man. Like, everyone has a strong opinion, and you just got to know how to roll with it.
I was going to say that's Boston for you.
That's Boston. So Jeff Kula, who is, I'm telling you guys got to research him and find out. Jeff Kula is good friends with Charlie Wilkins.
Is he from
fucking legend?
Is he from Lynn?
I don't know what town he's from, but he, that's how I got introduced to Boston and the culture. And he definitely let me know that people pride themselves on not being friendly. My wife and my youngest daughter flew out with me, and he was with me, and they came up, met me, I don't know, at the hotel room or something. And my wife was like, man, I can't believe how nice everyone's been to us and showing us around and on the tee. And, just people just kind of like really showing us the ropes in the city. And he's like, wait, what? People are friendly? People were like being accommodating? That doesn't sound like Boston. And I just started laughing. He's like, no, I'm serious. Fuck that. Boston, we pride ourselves on being assholes. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was hilarious. He was so mad. It was awesome.
The mass holes. It's true.
Oh, 100%. He was like, that doesn't sound like, he's like, I'm offended.
And I know that from all the characters featured on Survivor from Boston. They're always, they're always telling it like it is,
Yeah. If someone's too friendly, they get cut. They're like, no, you're not from Boston. You're out.
Yeah, exactly.
You're too friendly.
It's Everett. It's great of Boston.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine, like, no one could agree on that design. I mean, it was a huge park.
Yeah.
Like there's something in there for everybody, but no one ever could agree on everything. And so
Well, you know,
you just got the classic, think about it, dude. Like Boston, it's like,
well, Tom and I are from Boston. First
yeah,
of all,
it's known for like street spots and like riding natural stuff. So
we know.
yeah,
Okay.
people who didn't like the park, they're just gonna go across the water to eggs anyways, right? Like, so
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
that's honestly the best thing about the park is now it's like eggs is open.
yeah, there's eggs.
The eggs is open. No,
Well,
no one's at the park.
So
I mean, no one's at Eggsy's.
So we're pretty familiar with the bureaucratic bullshit that comes with building a park. Because I don't know if you know,
Man.
we had a DIY going on in our neighborhood, and I
R.I.P.
started going to meetings because they took away all the ramps originally. So I started going to meetings to try to get a skate park built, and it took over 8 years. And during that time, they said, we're willing to let you guys use the space, and you can build whatever you want until we get a plan that has been approved by the DCR. And it was right over the T, so they had to get approved by Amtrak, and they had to get approved by the T. So it took,
I know all about it. Jamaica Plains. I started off working on that a little bit, and then I didn't get to go to any of the meetings because someone from the city wanted to control everything and just make it terrible. But yeah, it was one of those things where like I saw what was there and I was like, guys, it's like a trap. Like you just got to leave it alone. You're never going to recreate something here that's going to work. It's too small. It's a rink. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just got to so the idea that I proposed to them, I was like, why don't you guys just pave it and you have a clean flat ground and then let them put whatever they want on there. But they're like, no, we can't do that. It was a liability, right? Like, no,
exactly.
It's a liability. We can't let them do that. And I was like, but you're never going to be able to put in here what you guys want is like this legitimate skate park, but it's too small.
Yeah.
There's no room.
Right. So
Kanten Russell, the hero we don't deserve, but we need.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it was, so I left and I saw the plans and it was not probably what it should have been. And I was like,
you should have taken us with you.
There's nothing I could do. I was like looking at it. Someone showed it to me and I was like, what do you want me to do, man? Like, I don't work there anymore. I can't say anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, so the entire time I was pushing for and this is the one thing that kills me with every park in Boston this is the one thing that I feel like everybody wants, but they just can't get for some reason, which is small, tight, just like, well, I was pushing for just small transition throughout the entire park, and then they built it like 4 to 5 feet high, and I was like,
huge.
I was like, that's not what I meant by small whatsoever.
100%.
They built above the wall that was already there.
In hindsight, I should have the entire time been just saying, okay, so get this, baby transition, 2 to 3 feet, the entire park, and you build street obstacles in the middle. But what ended up happening was I feel like they had this plan, and then they knew that they either had to go down or up, so they ended up building up and then taking out everything in the middle, and it just kind of ruined everything. And then
it's just a big bathtub.
Now it's a big bowl.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm glad that kids are still skating it, but as far as the Fancy Lad crew, yeah, we don't skate it anymore. And
I actually remember, I didn't know it was you guys, but someone had told me like, yeah, we got some input from these guys. This is what they're looking for. And I was like, yeah, it's just like less is more. They just want to scale it all down. But there was nothing I could do. It was totally, it's hard to watch from afar.
Yep.
Because what people are probably trying to do, but you just, it's almost like too many cooks in the kitchen, too much red tape. And plus, like you said, that thing was like how many years in the making? And they had to
over 8 years. Yeah.
Get all these structural approvals because it was over the top of the T. It was a nightmare.
Yeah. And then finally, when the plans were done, I reached out to the DCR and I said, I really think we have to revise these. I was like, nobody is really excited about the plans. And the head of the DCR emailed me back, and she said, "Listen, either you have what's approved, built, or we're tearing it down and we're building parkland." And I was like, you know what? Honestly, parkland doesn't sound that bad.
Build some fucking parkland over.
I tried to get the Converse guys involved because they were donating money.
Yep.
And so I was like, guys, you can control this. It's you guys are putting money in. You tell them what you want. And I think they just got railroaded. They sent emails. They said, hey, look, we don't appreciate this. We put money in. No one's sharing the plans with us. And I told them, I was like, guys, stay on it, man, because it's your money. I mean, just threaten to pull the funds.
Yeah. Well, so because that all happened, though, I was talking to the guys who built it. Chris, who's building it, he came up here from Florida or the Atlanta area. I think from Florida, actually. And he was saying that it would be, really cheap and easy to build a phase 2, but I'm sure that like now that it's built, everyone's just going to be like, all right, we did it. All right.
Well, first of all, you're talking about Boston. There's no such thing as cheap and easy. It's like,
you should meet my ex-wife.
I mean, as far as Chris was saying, this is just what I'm going on. He said that I know that park cost more than $500,000 to build. So, totally. And he was saying that if you were to build just a small street section with just, some ledges and flat bars and maybe, 2-foot quarter pipes on each side, he said it would be like, his estimate would be like $100,000. So, I
mean, yeah, if it wasn't in Boston, that's the problem. It's you guys have such high prevailing wages and, there's just so high risk for anyone even to pick up a shovel there. And you got like unions and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So yeah, they just skyrocket. Even like New York, right? Like if you were to price out a park, let's say in the middle of the country somewhere, even in like Minnesota, and I know this because this is like a thing that the skate park industry uses. They're like, okay, if you're working in New York or Boston, maybe LA, you're basically doubling the price.
Yeah.
It's just really expensive. I mean, Seattle too. I think, don't you live out in Seattle now, or some?
No. We got our team.
So
couple team riders lived out there. Benton and our team rider Nardo lived out there, but he moved.
Yeah, same thing. It was ridiculous expensive to do that project in downtown Seattle.
So you're saying I should give up on my dreams of trying to build a
No. Don't give up. But I'm just saying, like, don't expect it to be $100,000 because no one in Boston's even picking up a shovel for anything like that.
Yeah,
that's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Well,
I mean, I had a meeting with the guys from Converse, and they were so perplexed. Like, we don't understand, why is it so complicated? I was like, the bigger the city, the crazier it is. Even where I live in San Diego, it's terrible. Like, it's the craziest place to work on projects because it is a big city with big city politics, and it's really hard to get anything approved.
Yeah.
You would think otherwise. Oh, San Diego, skateboarding is like second nature. Well,
yeah. Well,
the bigger the city, the more drama.
I guess I'll just have to try to go through it all again, because I remember talking when it was built. I talked to the head of the DCR, and she said, "Oh yeah, no, we're all for trying to build a phase 2 if you guys think you can come up with the funding." And
I mean, I'm down to help. I mean, I'll help you. I mean, that's what we do. We just try to help push through the red tape.
Well,
the design stuff is, like I said, it's up to what people want, but it's just getting it to actually be a project. That's half the battle.
Well, I appreciate that. That would be awesome, actually, because I did email whoever was working from Stantec, and I was like, can just to help the process, I was like, can you make a mock-up to try to, speed things along? And they said, no, we can't do anything unless you go through the DCR and they have us commission it. So,
and then we
got a couple of people on our team who came with me from that area. They just wanted to continue to work on developing skate parks, and a couple of them are actually from like Connecticut, and what's the other one we're working on? We're working on Norwalk. You guys familiar with that city?
No.
I think it's in Connecticut. I'm totally blowing it right now. I'm at East Coast cities. But I know Alexis Sablone, I think, is from that area, and we had her like join in on the virtual meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some other projects happening in that area, so people are definitely familiar with the region and how complicated it is, but they would be hyped to help you. I mean, a couple of guys on the team know they've listened to your podcast. They're like, wait, what? You guys are jumping on a podcast with Fancy Lad? I saw those guys pull up in the van and the dudes rolled out and they were like starstruck. And I was like, so we got people on this team who would love to help donate the time to do a phase 2. And plus, since you guys didn't get those D3s, that's the least we can do.
That's what I'm saying. And also,
that's
you know
honestly
what?
the only reason we had.
I always hear about people being starstruck after the fact. I would appreciate it if they actually tried to, struck some stars while we're there.
Yeah.
Would it kill them?
Yeah, seriously.
When they saw the van roll up, they just, they were too intimidated.
Yeah. I get it. It's like seeing, seeing Eminem show up at your skate park.
That's right.
I get it.
I mean, it's kind of. I mean, and honestly, since we do that whole Mad Max thing, where me and Matt are both on the roof of the van.
Yep.
Shirts off, just like bullet vests on, guitars, flames blowing out. We're blasting Strutter by Kiss.
Yep.
One of our favorites,
of course.
So, I could see why people would be intimidated not to tell us.
Yeah, just intimidated, starstruck, all that. But yeah, there you go. JP Phase 2.
JP Phase 2. Also, I have a dream of redoing the really shitty skate park at my hometown of Norfolk. That's just all skate wave.
Let's consider that. Let's consider that Phase 3.
That's Phase 3.
That's Phase 3. All right. Let's worry about those Norfolk people later.
So here's some breaking news. When I was still kind of feel like I was in New England like once a month for years, but I knew that they were trying to do something in Weymouth. You guys know where that is?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So that's happening.
Really?
Yeah.
Dope.
So there you go. The Fancy Lad crew can actually have some input on what phase is that now?
Phase 4.
That's Phase 4. But Phase 4 is Weymouth. Mike Lindquist is going to be very excited about that.
Yeah, actually, you're right.
Yeah, so it'll have room for some street stuff. It's got room and depth for a nice sized bowl. So we worked on Sandwich. You guys ever go to the Sandwich Park?
I've heard great things about it, but I haven't been there because I hear the real estate's crummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, it's too low budget. See, there you can go. There's your cheap and easy.
It just doesn't cut the mustard. Am I right?
Yeah. Not fancy enough.
Yeah.
No. All right, but let us get serious real quick.
No. But like I said, the one feature that is that in every park is that doesn't have just chill. It's not like so the Lynch family skate park is obviously really big, really spread out. Everything's really big. And there's nothing there that's like just a very small, tight transition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
And that is the one feature that's missing in all of the little parks that have been popping up. Hyde Park, Somerville.
All we have to do, we'll just watch the classic clips from you guys at the OG Jamaica Plains Park, and there's your inspiration.
I mean, kind of. It's got everything you want: 2-foot quarter pipe, slappy curbs, a boob.
Yeah,
just every single little thing, a bump to rail, every single little thing that's actually fun to skate. I hate to say it,
keep it simple.
I feel like everything else is a West Coast mentality, kind of built in the East Coast, and that's like what it's been.
It is true. It's a different kind of a thing. Like when a lot of people approach us to do a park, they want that regional size. I mean, there's some people out there who say like, yeah, we want to hold competitions here. And so then you get into that mix and it's like, okay, well, we can't do a competition with a 2-foot, quarter pipe that goes to vert.
But who does competitions? I haven't seen any.
I know. I agree with you.
And I've only seen one Zoomies sponsored event at like the Lynch family. I haven't seen any competitions really,
I know. They all want a competition, but it never happens.
Yeah. So
Well, I mean, Vans helped with that one. So they did do a couple of Vans projects, I think, out there, which is kind of cool. But
Well, they got the checkered ground. How could they not?
right. Well, they put in $1.5 million for it. So, I mean, hats off to them to do that. But
well, I mean, if the JP rink cost $500,000, I mean, come on.
there you go.
Just
Yeah,
think-
seriously, they spent $1 million on just checkered tile. Is that what you're telling us?
No, they just, I mean, I'll give Vans credit. It was like they needed more money because, dude, like dealing with the contaminated soil there from the Big Dig alone was probably like $800,000.
I mean, that's a sketchy place, right? That area in general is
dude, there was easements we couldn't touch. There was a gas line we couldn't go over. I literally asked them at one point, why are we building it here? Because it's going to cost so much money. Why are we doing it here? And it was already so far down the road that they had to keep going. Everyone wanted the big bowl. They wanted it to be this big regional competition level park. And we knew it was never going to be the community friendly, like fun little spot.
Yeah.
So then we did Sandwich. We tried to make it more like that. And then same thing with Reservation Road. And a few others kind of like that, where it was a little bit, more mellow.
Where's Reservation Road?
God, the guy on my team is going to kill me for not remembering the name of the park. It's in Boston, but I'm trying to think of the name of so it used to be an old park there that was really falling apart. I can't think of the name of the park right now. They call it Reservation Road, but there's another name for it.
Is it Lil Scobie?
No. I know Jerry Fowler skates it quite a bit. I mean, he hit me up and was like, yeah, he's always posting footage of him like doing slappies on the curb on the side.
Was it the Hyde Parks?
Oh, Hyde
Yes,
Park.
Hyde Park.
Hyde Park.
Yes.
Okay.
Hyde Park.
That
yeah.
one's still pretty like big and spread out though. Even more, it has those initial like little section when you go in.
Yeah, it's got that little plaza up
But-
top.
For the majority of it, it's still pretty big and spread out.
Yeah, it's not tight. It's not like what you're talking about for sure.
Yeah.
But it's going in the right direction.
I do prefer, honestly, that is, and I know you like Little Scobie, but that Hyde Park actually is probably
Hyde
out
Park-
of everything, probably the one I like to skate the most.
No, I would prefer Hyde Park over Lil Scobie.
I think you guys actually might like Sandwich. You just got to dress up a little bit fancier.
Yeah, we gotta drive.
Head down to the Cape.
we just haven't. We gotta drive 2 hours out to get to it, so it's like, we could, but it's still a little bit of a hike to get there. So
yeah, I think you guys might like that a little bit better.
I've heard good things though, like I mentioned before about the park, so I will check it out soon enough.
It's really like, unfortunately, taking the time to understand what each neighborhood wants. And the problem is that the people who are coming out and telling you what they want in the area, like, okay, here's what we had, here's what we kind of want to recreate. And so we're not hearing from everybody that wants like what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just don't show up to the meetings, or we just don't hear about it, or we think we're like checking all the boxes that people are talking about. But we already knew you had the huge regional park with the big bowl, so that was already out of the way.
Yeah.
From here on out, it's like we knew it was just stuff that's a little bit more scaled down and not so crazy.
Well, I will say the one thing with the JP Park that I was just surprised by in general was just seeing what was there before and then building that. And I was like, did you not know your audience? It just felt like it was like completely just not being able to put the dots together and be like,
I know what
completely
happened.
missing the mark,
I wasn't at the meetings, but from what I understand, the people who were at the meetings were asking for all that stuff.
No, I was at the meetings. I was one of the three, because it was me and it was Rob and Lee from Converse. Those are the only three skaters at the meetings. So I was pushing, and I genuinely was pushing for transition. And I was like,
just the wrong scale.
I think exactly. And I think that I could have phrased it better now, looking back on it, being like, no, we want a street course with transition, and having, like I said, mentioning baby transition. So that I blame myself. Trust me, everything in my life, I blame no one but myself.
That whole process, though, like you said, the city was too heavy-handed. They kept everyone in the dark. I mean, it was just a bad process, period.
Yeah.
we're working on a project right now in State College, PA, with Jake Johnson, and those guys know exactly what they want, and that dude Jake is talented. Like he, sending sketches, and he's just done his research, and his dad was like a professor, like a landscape architecture professor. So I think those guys just did a lot of homework and probably learned that, hey, look, we got to show people what we want, and we're like going to show you photos, and he had a whole document of images and sketches. Like there's no misunderstanding what it is they're asking for. You know what I mean?
Honestly, like
and Jake is a pretty particular dude also,
But knowing now, I'd be able to do it a lot better, but going into it, I was just too green.
Yeah, it's a learning process for everybody. And like you said, like there's plenty of projects that we've all worked on that we're like, man, that really didn't go the way it probably should have. But you learn the different regions want different things. Like what you guys are looking for out there is not what someone's looking for in maybe New York or in Seattle or LA or whatever. Like you said, everyone's got a different kind of flavor, and you can't expect everyone to be the same.
Right.
You can't like carbon copy parks everywhere and think people are going to be stoked. Well,
you know what? I still, thank you for all that you're doing for skateboarding. Still, even after your, your contributions to professional skateboarding. And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna wrap up the podcast soon, but I just wanted to ask, for a final question, how you feel being on the Grind Queen meme team, where it's Kanten Russell's last few remaining fans.
I didn't even know what I was getting into. I just got tagged into that. I didn't know who was in that chat, but I was finding it entertaining. I don't know how everyone even finds the time to go out and do those meme challenges. Like, hats off to everybody.
Oh my God. Also, we're in Boston where it's snowing and below 0 degrees, so we don't even have any chance of doing any of the meme challenges for Meme of the Road, if anybody's wondering. But
yeah, it sounds like there's some people on some of their teams who really went all out and did some crazy stuff. So I was like, wow, hats off to that. But yeah, I was hyped to just see it all go down from your guys' perspective. And yeah, it's pretty funny.
But
the meme thing.
Tom will tell you, not to toot my own horn, I did do one challenge, which was a switch tray revert on flat.
Oh yeah.
You guys are still holding it down, man. I'm telling you. You guys are making everyone proud from the 90s.
Yes. That's all we ask,
Yeah. Like I said, a lot of people I know and talk to on a regular, they know everything you guys are doing. They know the videos. So you guys are doing it right, man.
Yes. All right. Well, it's a tough industry, I'm sure there's a lot.
It is tough, yeah.
I'm sure there's, believe it or not, more money in designing skate parks than there is selling each individual board. So,
that's the thing, right? Like, people don't know how hard it is to maintain anything in the industry, period. So, like, I think you guys are saying, like, you're 11 years deep or
10 years, yeah.
10 years deep. I mean, people don't understand how hard that is.
Yeah. So
it's almost as hard as getting a D3 sent to you guys for a sample.
I know. Damn it. It's almost impossible. we're almost impossible.
And we all of us are only asking for either a left or right shoe. We don't need a pair. We just need one in each size.
I mean, it's just like, I feel like it's my job now to help you guys really bring some things to life. It's like, you didn't get the D3, you didn't get the 2-foot quarter pipe at GP.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Let's just go down the list.
Tom can't do a blunt to fakie at the park that's there now, but he could do them before.
I mean, I could. Well, I definitely could. I'm just not going to.
I haven't seen you.
Well, I'm not going to.
If we could
it's
just
on principle.
If we could just chop it down like you could back in the day with backyard mini ramps, right?
That's what I said. I said if you could chop it all in half, it would be the perfect park.
Oh my God, I would love it.
When you go to someone's backyard, like, man, this 5-foot mini ramp is cool, but can you chop it down to 3?
Yeah. All right, so if you could do that for this, I would appreciate it.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
All right, well, please be in touch. It's great talking to you. Obviously, like I mentioned before, fucking legend on the podcast. It's always a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
And yeah.
And also, I know you're a movie buff, so you got to keep me up on. I think you should start posting some of your favorite movies. like a top 10 movie list.
I will. We were thinking about starting a movie spin-off podcast, actually.
That would be amazing.
So we just haven't been able to decide on a name. So
Or a movie.
well, I think that will come. I mean, the movies have been coming, and we got.
Let's start with the movie, and then we'll figure out
got
the name.
The new Scream. We got the Jackass 4 coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we got some
that's
material
two.
to work with.
So we've got 2 in the can.
2 in the can.
I'll be a big fan of that one. I'll be down to watch that for sure.
Perfect. Well, I'll keep you posted. You're gonna have to repost about it.
Well, thank you, my friends. Thanks for having me on. It was fun. If I make my way out to the East Coast, which it sounds like I probably will be, you guys will be first in line to be able to chime in on Weymouth. I'll send you everything that's happening about it.
Awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
We'll expect a full Fancy Lad showing at the opening.
Oh, yeah. We'll all walk out of the van in slow-mo. You guys.
See what I'm saying? People are just going to be like fainting, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You do a double take, raise your sunglasses.
Triple take.
What?
Triple take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It might justify a triple.
Well, I can't wait. You know what? I got to go, but thanks again for being on the podcast. It's been a pleasure, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Later, bud. See you.
See ya.
All right.
Thank
Peace, Ken. Ah, well, that was just great talking to Kenton.
Oh, my goodness. And, what a guest.
God. You know what? I hate to say it, but it's kind of one of those guests you dream about.
You know what? And I don't want to talk about dreaming about guests right now because this isn't the Break Dream podcast or the Guest Dream podcast or any of those podcasts.
But have you had any dreams where the guest is just flying through the window?
I have a reoccurring dream where Dane Berman breaks into my room and milks me.
Dane Berman?
Yeah.
Of Polar Skateboards.
Of Polar?
I'm thinking the same Dane, right?
I mean, there's only 2 Danes.
Oh, fuck. I was thinking about Dane. The other Dane.
Were you thinking of Dane from DGK? Dane Vaughn?
No. See, this
A
is...
third Dane.
Okay, so... Honestly, scrap it. Let's start over.
Okay, here we go. Right?
All right. Oh, well, that was great having Kenton on the podcast.
Dane Berman has been milking.
Wait, Dane Berman from Zero Skateboard / Liquid Death fame?
Wait, okay, let's restart it. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was great. Dude. Oh, that was great having Kenton on the podcast.
Oh, that was fantastic having Kanten on the podcast. What a great guest.
I know. Honestly, it makes me really appreciate it. Oh, scrap it. Let's start over again. Hold on.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
Hold on.
He's not going to appreciate it if we're just... All right. Whew.
Oh, that was great having... God. All right, it's gonna stop right now. All right, right? Oh, that was great having Kenton on the podcast.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to say Dane, but you didn't.
Dane who?
All right. No, starting over.
That was just great having Kenton on the podcast.
Oh, my goodness. You know what? It's nice to have a skateboarding legend and also someone that is so finely in tune with the current inner workings of skateboard architecture.
It's true. It reminds me when we had Dane Berman on the podcast.
Well, don't get me started.
And quite frankly, I think that we should have Dane Brady sometime.
Listen, any Brady's, I mean, as well as the listeners know, I love anything Brady.
Right.
I'll take Marshall. I'll take Greg. I'll take Bobby. Hell, I'll take Danny.
Really?
No, I don't want Danny. I want Marcia, Greg, or Bobby.
Yeah. Makes a lot more sense. Like I said, we're trying to go for the entire Zero team, hence Dane Berman.
Right.
And now we got a lot to look forward to going for the Osiris team.
I mean, we've gone one episode saying we're going to go for the Osiris team, and we got one of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like our odds are in our favor.
My only question is, who's next?
I mean, isn't it obvious?
I think so.
So the listeners know who's next. We know who's next.
Mm-hmm. We don't need to say it.
We don't need to say it because we're all on the same page.
Yep.
That's good. That's a good place to be.
Yeah, exactly. If you wanted to say it at the same time, we could, but...
I mean, even if we did, I'd have to delete it from this episode.
No spoilers.
No spoilies.
That's a rule. That's a rule here on the Fancy Life Podcast.
Some live by the rule of thirds. We live by the rule of turds.
Right.
Which is to say no spoilies.
Number one rule of turd.
Number run.
No spoilers.
No spoilies. Yes, turd.
Well, Chad Fernandez.
Damn it. All right, we'll have to get a different guest because Bigzo just ruined it.
Fuck, I'm sorry. I just so desperately wanted somebody from the movie Grind. And you weren't going to get Randy Quaid.
Well, I was working on it, but we're going to have to cancel everything now because...
Fuck, dude.
You're
that
just
would have
ruining
been
the surprise.
That would have been a fucking dream come true.
That would have been, but, you have to go guessing shit.
Christmas Vacation.
Mhm.
Christmas Vacation
All right.
2.
All right, well, Chevy Chase is off the docket. He was going to be episode number 3 of this season.
Fuck, dude. Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? Honestly, it would have made more sense for our movie spin-off podcast, which we don't know the name of yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we could have had Chevy Chase on the Fancy Lads Skateboard podcast.
We could have, but I mean, we won't now because...
You know what? It would have made more sense to have Chevy Chase on our spin-off podcast where we talk about obscure town names.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Chevy
Chase.
Chevy Cha. Cha short for Chicago.
There's a little red car in my anus.
You want to get that checked out, or?
Nah, I think it's fine. All I can hope is that this podcast will just set the tone for the standard of quality for the rest of the podcast to come in this season.
Oh, God. I hope so as well.
And, for all those Patreon listeners out there,
Uh-huh.
I hope they stay tuned for the Dirty Zone.
Oh, dude, if they aren't staying tuned for the Dirty Zone, then why are they even subscribing?
Why even subscribe?
Why even subscribe enough for the Dirty Zone?
If you're not going to get this exclusive content that's about to follow the podcast by being a Patreon exclusive subscriber, why are you even subscribing?
Yeah, what's your deal, bro? But anyways, let's wrap up this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is done.
This is done. So you want to sign off with your season 5 sign off?
You know what? I'm just going to go with the sign off that I'm comfortable with because I actually can't remember that. And I'm going to say, keep on rocking in a free world.
Okay. Well, now we know.
All right.
Yeah.